Welcome to WorksheetCloud Grade 9 English. I am Mrs. Nortier and I'm going to be your English teacher for today. If you have a question during the lesson or afterwards you would like some more clarity, please do email grade9@worksheetcloud.com. All queries will be answered and necessary information will be fed back to you. Okay, let's get going. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know it's Monday, but even though it's the start of a new week, actually it's Tuesday. See, I'm already forgetting the days. Even though it's the start of a new week, make this day great. Right, so we sometimes get into the slump at the beginning of the week and we think the weekend's over. Oh, I have to get through this horrible week and I have to do all of this. No, make today great. You've got the opportunity to learn. You've got an opportunity to spend more time with your family, and you've got another opportunity to make some big changes and glorious decisions this week. So make this day great. Tuesday, not Monday. Note to self. Okay, so what you're going to be needing today is pen and paper. You will be jotting down a couple of things. We'll be doing an activity or two. And it is going to be easier to organize your thoughts if you can write it down. So please feel free to pause and go grab pen and paper if you don't have yet, and we'll get going. Today we are going to be doing direct and reported speech, something you have definitely covered from primary school already, but also something that is definitely going to stay with you until matric. Okay, so the basics are very, very straightforward, but it is important that you learn the rules of direct and reported speech. I often find learners making careless mistakes with direct and reported speech because it seems so easy, but it is also easy to get stuck or tricked rather by the rules. So what is direct and indirect speech? Direct speech is the exact quoted words coming from the person's mouth as they are saying them. She said, "I won't be coming home tonight." Tom said, "There's a tiger outside the window." So those are exact spoken words at that moment by whoever she is and by Tom. You'll notice inverted commas or quotation marks. You'll also have a comma to show that now the direct speech is starting. Indirect speech, also called reported speech, exactly the same concept, is when you are now reporting what you have heard someone say. So you're not saying it as direct speech, you've heard it, you're now passing it on. For example, she told him that she was happy. He told me that he was tired. You'll notice no quotation marks or inverted commas and no comma because there's no direct speech following. It is reported back on the direct speech that was said. Okay, we're going to watch a video. We'll watch segments of it, and it gives quite a nice way of just showing, hearing something and then reporting it. It's called, I think, The Fabulous Four. So watch in segments as it makes sense to what we're doing.
I am at the void deck of Block 3, Mango Street, with brothers Michael and Jonathan Lee, who have just completed collecting old items from some of their neighbors. Who decided to embark on this activity, and why?
The idea came about when we saw stacks of old newspapers beside the Hello.
Cut. Sarah, you can't use your phone when we are recording.
A written report? Yes, Miss Berry. We will complete the report by tomorrow morning.
Huh?
Keep rolling. I will handle this. The interviewee is over there.
Action.
Whose idea is it to collect old newspapers and other items from your neighbors?
It is Michael's idea to collect the old items from our neighbors. The recycling bin is 2 blocks away from where we live.
Listen carefully to the interview, and compare what is said with what Sarah types on her laptop.
My neighbors are elderly, so they cannot carry these heavy items to the bin themselves.
How often do you help your neighbors?
I don't need to go to school on Saturdays, so Michael and I will knock on our neighbors' doors every Saturday.
Alright, so there you guys would have seen some basic elements of direct and reported speech. And the rules that we're looking at today cover pretty much all the different concepts, and we're going to be focusing on how these rules affect your sentence when changing from direct to reported speech. We will be looking at what an introductory verb clause means and what it does for the sentence. We'll be looking at the punctuation changes. We'll be looking at the inclusion of the words that, or if, or whether. We'll also be looking at how pronouns and certain adverbs, mostly of time and place, change. And most important, this is where I think a lot of learners fall short, is with the tense. That ties in with our introductory verb clause. Right, so don't stress if you're a bit unsure now. These are the concepts we will be covering. Okay, let's get going with some examples. Sarah said, I am very excited to return to school. Hope you guys are also feeling like this. And now if we look at that sentence, we know it is direct speech. The reason being there are quotation marks. I know it is something that Sarah is saying right now, and it is her actual spoken words. Let's have a look at what the introductory verb clause is. So the introductory verb clause is always going to be the speaker plus their action. I said, I asked, I queried, I staked. So introductory verb clause for speech will be the part not in quotation marks. And the introductory verb clause dictates to you what the tense of the reported speech will be. So, Sarah said. Said is past tense, which means when I rewrite my sentence in reported speech, it must be past tense. That is why the tense and the introductory verb go together, and why it's so important to take notes. Right, now let's take it further. Sarah said that. You will always need to include the word that when you are changing a statement to reported speech. Sarah said that she. So the pronoun now changes. Not I'm excited, she is excited. Again, tense, we must change it to past because said is in the past. Notice punctuation, the comma fell away, the quotation marks fell away. So from Sarah said, I am very excited to return to school. Sarah said that she was very excited to return to school. We noticed that the tense was past. We know that the introductory verb clause is Sarah said. We introduced by using that. We changed the pronoun to she. Punctuation fell away. So those are already 4 different aspects or rules within just one sentence. Let's try another one. Liam stated, I love playing hockey every day. Now, your introductory verb clause is Liam stated. All right, so because that is in the past, writing it in reported speech will also be past tense. So, Liam stated, remember you have to include that. Now we change the pronoun he. Let's change the tense according to introductory verb clause. Loved, playing hockey every day. All right, so from Liam stated, I love playing hockey every day. It's now become Liam stated that he loved playing hockey every day. Okay, so again, to recap, we looked at what our introductory verb clause was. We let that dictate the tense. We made sure the word that was used straight after the introductory verb clause. We changed the pronoun because it's reported, and we took away inverted commas. All right, so here's another clip from that same section to take us a little bit further into what we're going to do now. Okay, so it's again awesome foursome interviewing, and keep careful track. Listen as the interviewee speaks and think, oh, how would I report that? See if it matches to what you would say.
We distribute flyers to inform our neighbors about our collection period.
How does Michael feel about this experience? Michael?
I feel tired, but happy that I can help others.
Do you have any last words for our viewers?
I would like to encourage young people to play a part in making the neighborhood a better place to live in.
Jonathan and Michael are heroes for the elderly residents of Mango Street. The Awesome Foursome, signing off for Stellar Media Club.
You have watched the Awesome Foursome conduct an interview with Jonathan and Michael. You have also seen how Sarah had decided to type her report as she witnessed the interview. Sarah would like to inform others about what the brothers have said. She has to use the reported speech when she is speaking to others. But, if she is writing or typing it down, she can use either the reported speech or the direct speech. Let's look at an example. Jonathan said,
It is Michael's idea to collect the old items from our neighbors.
Sarah would have told someone else, or written,
Jonathan said that it was Michael's idea to collect the old items from their neighbors.
When we quote the exact words someone says, we use direct speech. Otherwise, we can use reported speech to tell others about something someone else said. Do you notice any difference between the direct speech and the reported speech?
Again,
Pause the
lack
video
of
and compare the
punctuation,
differences.
taking away quotation marks and changing the tense. Now let's look at what happens if you're given, as an example, a question. Loratu asked, are we watching a lesson tomorrow? Loratu asked is our introductory verb clause, past tense, so we know the change will be past tense. Now, we can't say Loratu asked that already it doesn't make sense. So where you've always inserted that, if it is a question sentence, you are going to use if or whether. So the tense of our introductory verb clause past. Also notice there is now an adverb of time, tomorrow, plus the question. So that already should get you thinking. So, Loratu asked if, not that, if they, remember pronoun changes, not we, they, were watching, past tense, a lesson the next day. So because tomorrow is an adverb of time, it changes to the next day or the following day. Let's look at one more. Jaden queried, should I complete the activity today? So queried, past tense. I'm now noticing there's a question, so I already know that I must use if, and I can see there's an adverb of time. So Jaden queried whether, remember you can use if or whether, he should complete the activity that day. Today becomes that day. Right, so here's just an example of some place and time adverbs and words that change. So today becomes that day. Now becomes then. Yesterday, the day before, or you can say the previous day. Days ago become days before. Last week, the week before, or the previous week. Next year it could be the following year. Tomorrow is the next day or the following day. Year becomes there. This becomes that. These become those. Ago becomes previously. Tonight becomes that night. So study and remember these so that you always know what the changes are from direct to reported speech. We're going to finish this video now, the last segment, as a bit of a recap before we start our own activity. So again, it will just be have a look at the spoken word, direct, versus the actual reported words.
Let's check whether you noticed these features. There are quotation marks in direct speech, but not reported speech. That is added between the verb said and the message of the speaker in reported speech. The verb is in direct speech is changed to was in reported speech. The determiner our in the message of the direct speech is changed to there in reported speech. Were you able to identify all the changes that happened when the direct speech was rewritten to reported speech in this example? Now, ask yourself, why is there a change in tenses? Why is there a change in determiners? Pause the video to give yourself some time to think about this. Some time would have passed between when the original message was said and when the message was delivered to another person who was not in the earlier conversation. This would explain why there is usually a need to change the tenses. As for the change in determiners, it has to do with who the speaker is. Sarah has to refer to the brothers' neighbors as their neighbors, not our neighbors. You have watched how Sarah rewrote what the brothers said in reported speech. In her example, Sarah changed the tenses and determiners. However, in other instances, she might need to change other features.
You may want to review the interview from the start and compare the direct and reported speech. Writing a report is not just about the reported speech, but that will be
the adverbs of time and place, as well as punctuation, tense, and the word that and if that you need to remember. Okay, you'll see that there are 6 sentences in front of you. I'd like you now to have your pen and paper ready. You are going to pause the video and you're going to change all 6 sentences into reported speech. Then we'll have a look to see what answers you got. Alright, so let's start at the beginning. I am reading a book, he explained. Now, explained is in the past tense, so I already know the tense. He explained that, remember we have to put in that. He was reading a book. Where do you live? She asked, or she asked me. So, asked is past. She asked me where I lived. It's a question word like where, when, why, who. you don't have to use if or whether. You just insert the question word. Hope you all agree with this. Learning English is easy, they told us. So they told us that learning English was easy. Do you like chocolates? The boy asked me. I don't think anyone can say no. The boy asked me if I liked chocolates. I'll be using the car next Friday, she said. Right? So she said it, and we all know that next is going to now be an adverb of place or time. She said that she would be using the car next Friday. We are working on the project together, they told me. Past tense. They told me that they were working on the project together. Right, so compare those answers to the ones you wrote down. If you made a mistake with tense or pronoun change, take note of it now. Because like I said, those are where I notice some of the mistakes can creep in. Right, guys, remember, gratitude changes everything. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling a bit sad today, try and rather look at what you're grateful for in your life. Because once you become grateful, you'll see that things just start looking a lot more positive. I hope you were able to learn some of the basics or revise some of the basics for direct and reported speech today. I'm going to bid you farewell. Thanks for watching Grade 9s. This lesson was brought to you by WorksheetCloud. I hope you have a lovely day.